I think the biggest thing, and I was just thinking about this the other day, is fractured attention. Before, I could go in, to the shop and sit down for 4 hours and engrave something and it would be totally fine. I think it's just becoming a lot more productive with the time that you do have, and slowly becoming more and more okay with that fractured attention. So I think it just kind of puts the emphasis on what are the most important things right now? How can I get that done? And also just taking a breath, like calming down. May our attention be fractured and those fractures be filled with joyful interruptions, not putting it in a negative light. Like those interruptions are only going to be here for so long. It's like, let's slow down and appreciate those things.
Welcome to the Paintbrush Prairie podcast. I'm Kinsey Ashcraft, a boutique owner, firefighter wife, and mama of 2 cowgirls, homesteading on a cattle ranch in Oklahoma.
And I'm Talia Watcott, a Western artist and illustrator, mama of 2, and wife of a mountain man, raising babies in the mountains of Utah.
Together, we share a passion for the Western lifestyle, homemaking, and Indian paintbrush flowers.
We're here to inspire and encourage you as we each create a simple but beautiful life on the prairie.
All right, welcome to another episode of the Paintbrush Prairie podcast. We are in season 4 of Tell Your Story, and we are so excited to have Nevada Watt on the podcast today. This is the lady behind Nevada Watt brand and the founder of Be a Maker School. So welcome, Nevada. Thank you for hopping on.
Thank you so much for having me, guys. We are just doing the best we can with rural internet, but we're rolling with it. And Zoom seems to like us this morning. So the Wi-Fi gods are with us.
Cross our fingers. So we're just going to hop right in. Nevada, tell us your story. Give us some information about you, where you grew up, your family. Just kind of give us some background on yourself.
Yeah, for sure. So I grew up in Central California. That, it's, I think, the last best place in California for sure. But I grew up with a father that's a saddle maker and a bit and spur maker. He makes hardware for saddles, tools to make saddles, and is pretty much good at everything he does. I mean, silver work when I was a junior in high school. And before then, it wasn't pushed on us. We were kind of allowed to, try it if we wanted to. We got the other unfun jobs like bending hangers for spurs and stuff. But so we started silver work junior in high school, and I went to school in Bozeman, Montana, and I had a little shop in our unheated garage up there. But I went to school for like pre-physical therapy and business, so nothing to do with art at all. Realized, as you do, the summer before your senior year, that you actually don't want to pursue what your major is. And started doing silver work full time down in the little town of French Glen that has, I think now, like 5 permanent residents. So not a lot of people by any means. And so then we've been there ever since. We got married in 2018, moved up to the ranch. And so now I do silver work, teach silversmithing and engraving, and help Levi run the ranch. It's a family operation. So we run it with all of our family in the middle of nowhere. And I'm so blessed that we get to do all of these things from really, no one's here, and it's kind of nice.
Yeah. That's so neat. I didn't realize that you were homeschooled, which we both homeschool our children. So that's another encouragement for us, just to see someone who has been homeschooled and now is doing like really big things.
I think there's so much, I'm a big believer that it's the parents that make the homeschool success, not necessarily the kids, because it worked for our family because we traveled so much. So like dad would go over, pick a country, like for France, for instance. So he would go over and teach like a saddle making workshop, whatever. And then we would go to France, learn about history, and then we'd go over there for a couple of weeks and travel around. And now if you're thinking like this bougie experience that we stayed in like these villas, no, we were the family at work. We stayed in like hostels as a family, and we were all totally fine. We've never had a bad experience. Hostels in Russia, in Poland, in Germany, and we were all fine. So take your homeschool kids, stay in hostels if you can't afford the nicer places, and it'll all be great. You'll have wonderful memories from it.
That's wild. That must have been a really cool experience.
It was and a lot of the traveling like college guys that came in at 3 a.m, they were all really nice, they were turn the light on, so it can be really good experiences for sure.
Wow. So obviously, if that's kind of what your dad was doing, then you have been exposed to the Western way of life. Can you tell us a little bit more about how the Western lifestyle has played a part in your life?
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, we were raised in it, grew up around it. We didn't run cows personally as growing up. We grew up on a ranch, but we weren't, that wasn't our operation. So my mom and dad are both actually Canadian, and they are the only ones of their family that kind of moved down from into the States, and they cowboyed around on different ranches in Colorado and Texas and California for about 9 years before they settled in California. So he has been a saddle maker for, oh geez, probably over 40 years now, and does silver work, does bit making, like all of the things. So we were raised in that. Um, some of the other businesses like doing hardware and tool making for saddles and stuff like that came a little bit later, but it's always been around us. So I would say we're very blessed that we've, grown up in this creative family that is so dedicated to preserving these Western trades and carrying them on in whatever way they kind of look. I feel like my dad's always been kind of like a Renaissance guy, that he will bring very different outlooks and styles to the Western trades. And so that's always been really encouraging. Like, he's never been like, oh, you have to do it, this way, because this is how it's supposed to be done. He's like, let's make really quality gear that's beautiful and have some of your own influence in that creative look of the piece. So we've been really blessed in that. And then, being part of the Miller family, my family now, and getting to run a ranch full time as well is it's kind of like coming full circle. So it's things that I've seen, kind of on the outside, because we didn't run cows personally, to being in it and really seeing the realities of running, a family ranch in nowadays is, quite different, and just seeing how that works. So yeah, well, I think we're really blessed to just have both sides of the Western culture come together, from the trade side to the actual physically, doing it and providing beef for America. So it's been a really cool melding of those two sides.
Yeah, that's so cool. Well, we are huge fans of your silver work and in your small business. Like I have your hoop me up earrings. I'm wearing the band. I have the maker ring. I love your stuff. It's so classy and timeless. And so I know you told us a little bit, but how did you really get started in dabbling in silversmith? I know your dad is a big influence, but who else or what else inspires you with the work that you put out?
Yeah, good question, Kenzie, and thank you for having some of my stuff. We're
Yeah.
working on a new
Yeah.
collection. That's what I was shooting a photo shoot of my sister-in-law yesterday with some of the pieces. But
That's
anyway,
awesome.
so no, I think when I first started doing silver work, I did more saddle silver, because that's like, my dad's
Mhm.
more of a bit shop, just a larger scale machinery, and he hates doing jewelry because it's too tiny and it just pisses him off. Or saddle silver when I first started. And then, to be honest, moving towards jewelry, it's something that I can wear and enjoy, but it also is really, I'm big on business and big on profits, and that's where the profits
Mhm.
are. Us women, we love buying jewelry, and we will definitely spend money on those kind of things. And it's also a little bit easier. I don't have to have as big a machinery to
Yeah.
build some of these items. So started doing that, and I think, honestly, like, I get the question like, "Oh, how'd you find your style?" or "How'd you find that?" And I don't think it's something that from the get-go. You've gotta keep doing stuff long enough, and there was a long time that I never kept a single item that I made, and people would be like, "Oh, like, did you make, so and so that you're wearing?" And I'm like, "No, I didn't," and I don't know why I never kept it, and I think it turned around the passion in my heart when I started just making pieces that I enjoy wearing in whatever life stage we were in. So when I first started out, I definitely made more, eclectic items that were a little bit off the cuff, one of a kind. And I think that helped kind of getting noticed a little bit, that helps for traction and just get some organic growth that way. And then carrying on, as we all get older and we have real bills and real things to pay attention to, making things efficiently and making more of kind of like a group of items that you can make over and over again sustainably has been the way to kind of, grow the business. So started out silver work, then went to jewelry, and like I said, was more eclectic from the get-go. And now just kind of feeling pieces, because I live 80 miles from the nearest town, like, no one really ever sees me, right? So I wear pieces because they make me feel good. And if I can enjoy wearing them and, work in them, whether we're branding, whether I'm in the shop, whether I'm doing whatever, cooking, and I can still enjoy that piece that I'm wearing, that's kind of what inspires me right now. So, and throughout the years, I have tried to, have influences from different countries. Like I love, we went to Morocco and I love the patterns and the geometrics of all of those
Mm.
designs that they put into rugs and clothing and all kinds of stuff. So just trying to kind of infuse those elements from other cultures. And I would say that comes out more. I still do one-off pieces. I don't do custom orders anymore, but I still make, one-off pieces. And I think I have a little bit more kind of fun creatively with those bigger items, just because, they're just one-off. They're supposed to be a little bit more special. So kind of
Mhm.
two things, but I would say the majority of pieces now are really kind of functionally based that I put them on, and if I go out and do the chores and do whatever and it doesn't bother me, then I know it's going to be a good piece. That's kind of my gauge of is this going to work or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
All you take your own quality control, right?
Yes,
Like
it can like want them and they don't fall apart and she's okay, also a benefit.
That's cool. So I have a question about how you, I mean, this kind of, I mean, it might be totally like obvious, but um, you were exposed to the silversmithing kind of like when you were growing up. So obviously, like I'm sure you learned a lot that way. How did you actually like gain the skills to do like the jewelry making and things like that? Because that stuff is so out of my realm, and I'm like, how do people get started in this stuff? It seems like so obscure to me.
Right, right. No, I will, which is funny because like my shop now is set up like how my dad's shop is set up, right? So it's not set up like a jeweler shop at all. Like nothing, nothing is where it's really supposed to be. So starting out, he was really, the person that taught me engraving. However, I've also got to spend time with Diane Scallis, who's an amazing engraver. I've learned stuff from her, from dad. I went to some courses down in New Mexico. Eddie Martis put on a course down there with Sean Didyoung. And who else was there? Now I'm forgetting there's one more guy. I'll think of it. Anyways, I've taken classes from quite a few different people and just trying to pick up that knowledge. I feel like I was really blessed, like because my dad was a craftsman, right? I've been around this kind of work and
Mhm.
in a lot of ways, I think I took it for granted when we were younger. But the amount of knowledge you can just kind of pick up from being around these people, looking at different work, just being attentive to different quality of work has helped a lot as well. As far as the jewelry goes, I think some of it was I've never actually really been to a course on how to make jewelry. So it's kind of like trial by fire, learning things, but there's basic principles, Talia, like when you learn how to solder, it's the same principle whether you're making an earring or you're going to solder, a piece of silver to a bit. Like there's a few different tools a little bit, but it's the same principle. You've got to get both things hot so that it will melt. The solder is kind of like the metal glue together and not melt one of the items on either side. So it's principles that work across the platform. You just kind of have to understand how they go together. So once you learn how to use a jeweler's saw, which is just like a baby bandsaw that's run by hand, and that's how you cut out silver pieces. So all my stuff starts as flat pieces of silver. Start it with a jeweler's saw, cut it, and you go from there. So again, those skills kind of go across the whole spectrum. But realizing that there was a need for, because I think there's courses on engraving in the world and there's courses on making fine jewelry, I would say. So like think of the classic faceted stones setting, and just more like high end jewelry, but there's not really a lot of courses on silversmithing with kind of that western
Hmm.
influence. That's
Mhm.
where be a maker school I think really fills that need for people, because we provide that course that you can do online to learn these basic silversmithing skills, to learn how to use jeweler saw, how to solder, how to drill items, how to polish items, all of those skills you have to know to then go and build whatever the heck you want. We also have, courses in engraving and courses in higher end fabrication as you move on, how to bezel set stones, how to engrave flowers, all of those things. It was more based, like my courses are stuff like, oh man, I wish that there was a course for that, out in the world. And I didn't really find one that kind of hit all those things we needed. So that is one, that's a shameless plug for Be a Maker School that because it wasn't really, Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there was a lot, and there's wonderful classes in engraving, but again, that kind of Western silversmithing is a little different. It's kind of a hybrid between, fine jewelry making and bit making, maybe, because some of it's pretty
Yeah.
large scale. So
Yeah, yeah.
mixing them all together and making our own little weird niche out here.
Well, that kind of goes into our next question. So tell us about Be a Maker School and kind of just give us a rundown. I mean, we've heard a little bit about it because Kaylee is a teacher there, but tell us the whole history, kind of like how it all came to be.
Okay, yes. So, back in the day, remember COVID? Remember the world was trying to end fun times, right? So, I remember, I was thinking, okay, I want to create something to be able to carry on these Western trades to teach people these things, but also allow to reach more people that because I have a really small little shop. It's like one of those kind of funny little office trailers you'd see at construction sites. Like that's my little shop. So it's not big. So it's not really a place that I can have people come in person, right? So I'm like, okay, how do I share this knowledge to people on a larger scale? And also that will allow it to grow apart from me. So the whole goal with Be a Maker School is I wanted it to be, and it is becoming, a place to learn any of the Western trades, right? So I wanted it to grow, apart from my knowledge, because everyone has a way of doing things, and I've never really been a big rule person. I'm like, listen, this is how I do it. If you do it a different way and it works, fantastic. Like the more the merrier. It doesn't matter to me. So started kind of, forming in the brain, wanted to do this. I've been able to, teach throughout the years, and it's been such a wonderful experience. I love teaching more because it it humbles me in so many ways because I'm like, oh my God. For one, these people are so dang smart. For two, like learning how to explain things in a better way that people really can grasp has taught me immense amount of knowledge in the shop as well. So then COVID happened, and I think that was kind of the incentive to make it go, right? Everyone was going online. The world was kind of in a weird spot. So we launched Be a Maker School in July of 21 with my first like flagship course, which is the fundamentals of silversmithing. Again, it's that skill-based course teaching you those things you got to know to build pretty much anything silver work, really. So it's just a very basic course that you don't have to know anything about silversmithing to be part of. From there, we have grown into courses in rawhide and leather braiding. We have courses in cinch making, more courses in silversmithing and engraving. So we have Kelly McRae and Tate McRae. They teach courses in bright cut engraving. We have like different kinds of stone setting with Tate McRae and ring making and like the filigree work on rings. We have courses in leather tooling from our dear Kelly McRae. I already said her, Kaylee Klein from Leather Co. She has a leather tooling course. We have courses in shap making. And just recently, we launched a course with Nicole Poyo Brennan on equine photography. So, like outside, real light photography, and doing, action portraiture and those kind of things. So those are all the courses we have. And I've been slowly growing it to, again, one day I just want to have all of the courses. So we always have new courses in the works that are coming down the pipeline. But a big thing for me, every teacher that we have, I value not only what they do, they're skilled craftsmen at what they do, but also who they are as a person is huge to me. So the integrity of kind of growing slowly has always been a big deal for me. I don't want to saturate the market with courses that maybe aren't helpful from people that I don't really know that well, so I can't vouch for who they are as a person. So that's been huge. And again, we're kind of into that sustainable growth that we're growing slowly so that we can carry on because these Western trades have been around for a very long time. And I want to do them justice by providing courses that really kind of honor that, the quality of work that's been part of them. So yeah, that's Be a Maker School. We have quarterly enrollments, 4 times a year. We open all of the courses, and it's kind of fun because then we have like a group of people that go through at a time. So we just finished one actually as recording this podcast in April, but we do 4 times a year: January, April, July, and October. And then, but those courses are really cool. So one big difference with Be a Maker School is I feel like a lot of other online courses, they kind of give you the information and they're like, here you go, have fun. We're really big. We are by makers and for makers and with makers. So we have these courses and we have different subscription levels, and you can purchase one-on-ones with your instructor that you get to speak with them on a Zoom call with whatever things you're facing in the shop, whatever you're working on, they're right there. We have live Q&As. We have access to a private Facebook group. We have tools and resource lists where the instructors list everything that they like used in that video. So you don't have to go and try to, what was that one tool that they said? Find the interweb for it. No, that's way too much. So we have all of those things part of it, and we really want to see you thrive as a maker. I'm a big believer that anyone can be a maker in this world. Just be your own maker. And it's funny, people are like, oh, I'm not creative, I'm not that. I'm like, listen, if I try to draw a horse, it looks like a potato. I can do that. So I think these skills are very teachable, especially like in my realm, engraving and learning how to draw scrolls. It is very systematic, step by step. I teach you how to draw them. We go over how to engrave them. We go over sharpening the tools, like the whole thing. So that's kind of, I think, what sets Be a Maker School apart is we give you the information and we want to see you continue on. We want to hear from you and we want to see the stuff that you're making. And it's so amazing when you get to see people that take a course and then they infuse their own knowledge into it and their own creativity. It's just like, that's amazing. That's what we're going for.
I love the concept, and I also like that you're putting something out there to keep these Western trades alive and for the next generation. And I put it in my gift guide this last Christmas because I'm like, what a gift that would be to give to someone, the gift of learning a trade that could take them who knows where. And even as like a mom that who is a small business owner, but I also homeschool, I love it because you're giving someone the opportunity to do something from home while still raising their
Yep.
family.
Yep. No, that's huge, Kenzie. I'm glad you kind of touched on that. So to be honest, like that was really a big motivation for us because we wanted to start a family. I have one little girl. She's just over a year now. And it was that same thought of like, how can because before Be a Maker School, if my hands weren't building something in the shop, they weren't adding to our income, they weren't benefiting our family with the skills that I had, right? So being able to do something that you can do from the middle of nowhere, you can pause some of the other things and start raising a family was huge for me. And but it's cool also because I don't think it's not like there's a timeline on this stuff either. You can learn these skills, and if you have two really young kids and you got to step away for a little bit, you don't have, time to focus on that. It's okay. It's not going to go anywhere. Those skills that you learn go anywhere. And so there's 3 levels of subscription, but the 2 higher ones, you have those courses for forever. As long as the internet is alive, you will have those courses. So it's kind of cool. It's a little bit more customizable that way, depending on your life stage. We have a lot of young moms, which I just find so cool because I find so much inspiration from them, right? And there's moms that might have 3 kids and they're a little bit older, and there's moms with, very young kids that you find yourself maybe being at home more. Maybe you had a job somewhere else away from home, and now you're at home. And you're like, I still want, I need a little something extra for my creative side to keep those juices going. So we have so many moms be part of Be a Maker School, and it's wonderful. That's really a dream come true as well.
Well, and from like an artist's perspective, I mean, I feel like especially with those Western trades, and someone who also did not grow up like really embedded in the Western lifestyle. So, I mean, I always loved it, and I kind of felt like the outsider, like, peeking over the fence, looking at everyone like, hey, over there, can I do what you're doing? But so now I'm, fully in it. I mean, as much as I can be. But I just think it's so cool that you have created this platform where literally anyone can do it. Where before, it was kind of like, well, you gotta be a cowboy to learn how to make saddles, it's like, or you gotta you have to have lived this to know the right people to learn from and all this stuff. But you've created this platform where anyone in the entire world can get on here and learn these Western trades. And I think it is so cool.
Thank you, Talia. That is, a huge goal as well. I think we are very fortunate, kind of our generation, that there's so much information out there, right? You talk to my parents' generation, and that was still in the era. Like if you went into someone's workshop, they would throw sheets over things so you didn't see anything. Like it was not an open book. It was not sharing. And I think that was a huge influence for my family because they were so generous in sharing that knowledge. It inspired me to be that way as well. Um, and just again, that the era that we're in, there's just it's kind of information overload, which is also like I wanted a place that we could give that information to anyone, but also like quality information that really is kind of the basis of this culture. So yes, we have people in Europe, we have people in Australia, we have people in New Zealand doing it. Like there's so much passion in places that maybe kind of like you're saying, like the peering over the fence. I think the people that are in it all the time and grew up in it, we can sometimes take this whole culture for granted. And the people that didn't but want in it so bad have so much passion and they're going to figure out how to learn this stuff. So we welcome anybody. We're not, not opposed to where you grew up. It doesn't matter, right? That's the whole thing is you can do these trades from anywhere, from the comfort of your own home and be part of a community that really is shooting for you. Like they really want you to do well in this as well. So yes, that's a huge point, Talia. Like just anyone can do it from anywhere, and we don't gatekeep. We're not like, oh, if you grow up in this area, you can't learn this Western trade. No, no. If you want to do it, you want to do good work, get after it. You got it.
Well, I love that. So on our show, we really put an emphasis on not only the Western lifestyle, but marriage, motherhood, and homemaking and homeschooling and all of those things. So tell us a little bit about how your business has evolved since becoming a mother.
Yes. So again, I only have one baby and she's just over a year. And me and my husband are just like, everyone told us it goes by fast. And holy crap, by so fast. And really quick, how many kids do you guys have?
I have two.
I have
Awesome.
2.
Awesome. Is 2 the good number? That's what I feel like I want. 2 sounds great.
I want more.
Do you
Yeah.
be the step
Two's
mom?
good, but it's just like I feel like there's more. It needs to be more full, but
Yes. Okay, we'll work on that. So I'm thinking 2 next, but 3 sounds great. So yes, it has evolved a lot since motherhood, and I have been so, so blessed. So I have a young girl that works with me in the shop, but is also loves taking care of kids, is super handy, can drive equipment, can rope, can ride, can cook, like can do it all. And she came into my life last year, right before I had my little girl, Clara. And she came and job shadowed me and then asked, like, hit me up for a job. I'm like, you know what? Yes, that sounds great. And I think it was complete God thing that that worked out. So she's been with me for over a year, and she's who's watching my little girl right now. So she comes 3 days a week, and we, work in the shop. And she has her own silversmithing business as well, which has been so cool to watch
Oh,
evolve.
cool.
And so I've been really, really, blessed with that. And we live right next to my in-laws. So I have, help on that side as well. So I just want to preface that because a lot of people, we always hear like, oh, you do it all. I'm like, listen, I have a husband that loves me, that comes home every night. I'm not doing this alone. And I have family that surrounds me and helpers like on all sides. So I don't do it all. I guess I should just say that I have many people that help me and I'm so, so blessed in that. But I think the biggest thing, and I was just thinking about this the other day, is fractured attention. Before I could go in, to the shop and sit down for 4 hours and engrave something and it would be totally fine. Like there was nothing really else vying for my attention. Whereas now, and I will say, my little girl, she's pretty chill. She'll come into the shop and kind of sit in her little camo folding chair as we're engraving and stuff. But I think it's just becoming a lot more productive with the time that you do have and slowly becoming more and more okay with that fractured attention that, if I didn't get a certain goal done before at a certain timeline, like I was worried about it. And just throughout this year, I think that's the biggest thing she's taught me. Like, if I need to go in and we're going to take a break and I need to take her for a walk or she's having a rough day, it's going to be okay. Like it's going to be all right. And when you do get time to go back out there, you're way more focused on the things you need to do. So I think it just kind of puts the emphasis on what are the most important things right now? How can I get that done? And also just taking a breath, like calming down. I can be really, have to get this, and this done. And some days that just doesn't happen with kids, right? It just depends.
Mhm.
And like I was saying before we started recording, the whole sleeping thing has been a little rough lately. She was so good for the first majority of the year and just been going through some changes, and it changes so fast. And right when you're like, okay, like we're gonna start doing this at this time because the naps seem to work now, and then it's like, just kidding. No,
Yeah.
they're so I think just yeah, fractured attention and becoming okay with that. And I wrote something on Instagram the other day, and it was a total Holy Spirit thing because I don't know where it came from, but it was like may your attention be fractured and those fractures be filled with joyful interruptions. And I think just not putting it in a negative light. Like those interruptions are only going to be here for so long. And she's
Yeah.
only lived for so long. And I think it's just so much fun to see all the stages that she goes through and to not look at it as like, oh, like she interrupted me. Now I have to go and do this. Like, praise God, she interrupted me because she wanted to pick up some gravel off the ground and didn't want to
Mhm.
walk fast. Like, let's slow down and appreciate those things. And I'm not fantastic at it, right? I am still learning by all means, but I think that's the biggest change in my heart that's changed over the last year. Just being okay with slowing down and being okay with, it's not always my plan, and that's all right.
Well, I think that, I mean, I feel like you're a very driven person, and you have like a lot of goals and a lot of things you want to get done, and I feel like people who are like that, like I am one of those people, it's so hard. Like it is an everyday, like you got to just like be okay with this.
Yes. You guys know the Enneagram? Are you guys Enneagram people?
Yes.
All right, what are you, Talia?
Well, so I'm actually a 9,
Okay.
but I am like a 9 wing. Is it a 9 wing 3 or is it a 9 wing?
You'd probably be a 9 wing 1 with that perfection, like, really wanna get stuff.
Yeah, so that's what
Yeah,
it is. Yeah,
yeah,
because I'm like, for a while I was like, oh, I'm a 3, but then I took it and I was like, actually, I'm heavier on the 9, but I still have a lot of 3 tendencies.
yes. And I think you go to the 3 in growth when you're doing well, like, if you're in a good kinda mental
Uh-huh.
spot, you
Yeah.
go to the 3 in growth for it. Yes, I'm a
Yeah.
3, my husband is a 1, and the biggest I would say, I care about getting things done, and he cares about getting things done correctly. I think that's
Yeah.
the difference. And Z, do you know anything about the Enneagram or what
I
number you are?
do. Yeah, I do. I'm not really into it, but I do struggle with like OCD and perfectionism and like having things so. And I will say that kids has definitely like humbled me. And I've had to like learn and train myself to just kind of go with the flow, let some
Yep,
things go. Whatever is there will be back there when you get to it. So I
yep,
definitely relate in that way for sure.
yep. No, I think it's so cool, and I started kind of a new project with this collection called the Here Collection that's really it's just pieces for life's tiny moments that are monumental in hindsight. And so I wanted to start kind of, showcasing women who just inspire me in their here. So I just went and did a photo shoot with my sister-in-law. She has 4 kids, and it's just so much fun to I love seeing like the inner workings of people's homes and how they how they operate. I just find it so cool. So just seeing how handle one more kid, and how she does it with so much grace, and those kids know that they are loved unconditionally, and I just
Yeah.
find it inspiring. So slowly working on that because there's a lot of emphasis on, and we've talked about this in Be a Maker School a lot. We do, emails, different kind of themes every quarter. And this quarter that we're in actually right now, and I'm pretty sure when this podcast will go live, we are talking all about the support system because we always have like the people that do the thing on the podcast or, on the course, whatever, but we wouldn't be able to do the thing we do without the people that are behind us. And I think
Right.
there's a and I think it's kind of the wrong emphasis for some like new moms or people that haven't even had kids yet that want to. And they're like, well, how am I supposed to do it all? And it's like, listen, God will bring the people in your life to help you out. And I'm a big believer that God only puts on your plate what you can handle. And gosh dang it, if there's more on your plate, I guess He's going to be there to help you handle it, even if it doesn't feel like that in the moment, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think we're just, yeah, don't take for granted all the people that we do have, whether they're family or not, whether there's some random, maybe the mailman is your best support system. I don't know, but there are people around that are here to help you.
Well, you basically answered the next question I was going to ask, but that works out perfect. So, what are some of your big dreams or your goals for your business or Be a Maker School or your life in general? Just any ideas you have.
Yes, I think just keep growing, be a maker school. And it's so funny when I started, I'm like, oh, like I want a passive income side gig. Oh, jokes, right? So not passive in any way. And I think that's what it's supposed to be though, right? If the passive income things come from possibly areas you're not as passionate about, right? If you want to do this and you love what you do and you care deeply about it, it's never going to be passive because your heart is in it, right? So it's not a passive income thing, and it's become a thing that has grown away from me. I have people that help me with it. but I love it so much and I want to carry it on. It's not a business that I'm like, okay, I'm going to grow it to a certain point and sell it. I'm like, no, I care about this deeply. I want to be involved in this. So, growing Be a Maker School, there is a new course coming October 1st. And I kind of have been, just hinting about it on other places, but we'll talk about it a little bit right now. So, it is a business course for the maker that has to wear all of the hats, right? So,
Oh,
the person
cool.
that you are at home and you have to price your products, you have to market your product, you have to figure out how to ship your product, you have to invoice people, you have to know how to manage the money when it comes in. All of those things that are part of running a business as a maker, they're so either overlooked or so confounding to people that they don't know where to go to start. The amount of times that I have been asked how to price a piece of jewelry, how to price someone's work is it's astronomical. Like it's so bad. So this course is coming through Be a Maker School. We have 5 people part of it, and we're hitting on all of those kind of aspects that are part of running a business as either a single member maker shop or a very small member. Maybe you have a couple people that work with you, but it's very small, right? You don't have a whole team. You don't have a marketing team. You don't have an HR team. Like you are it. So that is coming October 1st, and I'm so dang excited about it. That's been in my brain since when Be a Maker School started, that I knew I wanted to do this. And the courses that I get to teach in person, I always touch on business as well. I was asked once, do you consider yourself an artist or a business person first? And I was like, I've never really thought about that, but I would say I am a business person first, because if I can't make a profit at it, my creative side doesn't get to keep doing the work.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah, that's true.
that's expensive. So huge on that. We've been raised in a home business. So we've been capitalists since birth, but huge, huge part, and I care deeply about it. So that's coming October 1st to Be a Maker School, which I'm just so excited about. Um, so that's a huge goal, and just continuing to grow those courses, like I said, with integrity, with people that I value so much, and just highlighting their strengths of what they do as well. Then for Nevada Watt brand, I would say just kind of I like more the collection based style of releases, just kind of really putting some intention and some thought into items and what they mean, and releasing them as we go. And then just raising a family and being, the support that I can for my husband on the ranch, and being the mom that I can. I don't know if I'm going to be a homeschool mom. I've told my mom, I'm like, I don't know if I have the patience. I don't know. I'm so stubborn, man. I have like zero patience and is all of the stubbornness. And my little girl has all of the stubbornness already. So so well. But whatever that looks like, I'm not too sure, what will come down the pipeline in that realm, but just yeah, just really enjoying it. And I love where we get to live. And so I don't think there's a goal of like, moving away. There's nothing like that. It's just kind of, raising children in this lifestyle and letting them be a part of it is that would be amazing for me.
Well, tell us, kind of in that same realm, what is the most fulfilling thing that has happened in your business, with Nevada Watt?
Oh, with the most fulfilling there, I think is just hearing from people that wear the items in their daily life and just either don't take them off or just love them. Like a lot of the pieces that we end up wearing every day, they're not the most exciting, right? They're not these like
Yeah.
statement items. They're just items that make us happy. And that have just, if you think about it, like I look down at the jewelry I wear every single day, and it's been with me. I left it on while I was having my first baby, right? It's been
Yeah.
with me through birth. It's been with me through every time we've been out branding, and they've been covered in calf blood. We've been like, anytime we're in the shop, like all of those things that we're part of, I think that means the most to me, right? That it's part of you in your life, whatever that looks like. And just hearing from people that enjoy wearing stuff and either, buy multiple pieces or even buy replacement pieces when they wore something completely out. How amazing is that? Like
Yeah.
that's it means the most to me and is the most fulfilling. And just getting, and then like with my helper Claire, getting to see her learn silversmithing and go into her own style and create pieces that make her happy. Like that's really what it's all about. So those have been the best
Yeah.
things today.
Give us some details about being an ultra runner.
Oh man, yes. So I haven't run a race, since having my little kiddo. I do hope again. They say that endurance athletes, like for women, we peak around 35. So I still got time. That's what I like to think. I still have time to do better. So yes, I love running, and I am not fast. I am a very slow knock-kneed runner, but I like to run a long, long ways. So started in high school I was like, Mom, I want to run a half marathon. She's like, okay, I'll do it with you. I'm like, fantastic, Mom. So we ran a half marathon every year of high school. And then a marathon was my graduation test. So we did there. It's just gone further and further. So I think with ultra running, for those of you who don't know, it's pretty much anything over a marathon is what they consider an ultra run. So the first one was like a baby ultra. It was a 32 miler over in Wyoming, and it was just so much fun. And I think what changed is with ultra running, it's more of an individual sport. I've never been, I'm not doing it to really race it. It's more of a mental challenge of can I actually do this? So it's just become longer and longer. So we've done that one. I've done a 50 miler that was very rough because I wasn't training right and the weather was terrible. So I was pretty much freezing the entire time. Tried to pass out after that one. I didn't. I made it. I didn't fall asleep in the bathtub. So that's cool. 6 mile around where I live in the middle of Oregon, there's these mountains called the Steens. And I was like, Mom, let's run around them. She's like, okay, I'll do it with you because that's the amazing mother that I have. So we go around, and my uncle did it with us as well. And he's from the flatlands of Alberta. So anyways, and this hill goes up to 9,700 feet. So we did a 66 mile around there. And then I did a 100 miler in 21. And then, started, I knew I wanted to get that done before I had kiddos was the thought. So we made it. Not have done it without all the family that supported me. But I think what I enjoy about running is it's cheaper than therapy. That's what I always say. And you can do it anywhere. And it's just, I find it really enjoyable. You can just go out and just be with your own thoughts, right? And I work through things in the shop. If I'm like trying to figure out a design, I'll go for a run. If I just need some space alone, I do that as well. And it has changed since having Clara. I have a nice bob stroller, and then I have this really cool kind of pull stroller. I pretty much look like a pony. Like I need a little pony with pull that around. So it's changed right now. And I'm okay with not doing any crazy race right now. Like I'm just taking my time, we'll have some kiddos and then see where it goes after that. But I thoroughly enjoy it. It's just, yeah, it's just relaxing to me. And I've been the weirdo that like ran a long run to go to a branding. So I got lunch loaded up. So my husband drove the lunch with the horses and then got there and then we branded all day and came back. I was a little tired that day, but I was in really good shape. So that worked out. But yeah, I just think it's just enjoyable, and a lot of people are like, that's so weird. Like you run all kinds of weird places, and again, it's just a mental thing. I love seeing what you can do if you put your mind to it, and of course, it's physically challenging. But I think any of the long runs I've done, it's all mental, really, and I
Mhm.
couldn't do it if I wasn't pushing me along. But if anyone wants to run, I highly encourage ultra running because the people in it are fantastic. They're so nice and they're so just there. They're just happy to be there. They're just going to talk to you while you're walking and running. And yeah, and I walk all the time too. Like I didn't run the entire 100 miles just
Oh,
so
yeah.
everybody walk all the time. But yeah, it's just enjoyable. Do you guys like to run?
So
Nervous
so
laughter.
it's funny because so my husband actually just got into ultra running a couple years ago. So he ran one last summer. But he like kind of, this is how he does things. He just like goes all the way. So
Yep.
he actually got into it because one of his friends did it. And he was a pacer, and then he was like, "Oh, I like this." And so last summer he did 100 miler, and that was like his first one that he had ever done.
What did he do?
And what was that?
Which one did he do?
So he did the Ute 100
Oh yes, yeah.
in Moab, and so he's doing it again this year.
Awesome.
So he's been doing all of his training and stuff, and I'm supposed to be his pacer for this year. We're still working on finding some other pacers, but I'm supposed to do like 20 miles or something. I'm like, I don't know if
Oh,
I can do it.
you'll be just fine. My husband, that's so funny that you said that. So I had on the 100 miler, I had my brother start with me at 50 miles. And then I had my sister-in-law and I had my husband. My mom was supposed to run with me. She was really like the person that kept everybody in line.
Yeah.
And it ended up that I finished a little bit, like it worked out that my husband ran the last bit and she was the one that kept everyone in line. So he hadn't run since high school. And that was like almost a decade ago. And he ran twice, 2 times. Before we went, he ran 18 miles and was like, I feel great. I'm like, well, gosh dang it. Like I've been training for, years for this and you just run twice and you're totally fine. So frustrating. So it's fine.
Well, I'm hoping, I'm like, by the time it's my turn, I'm like, you'll barely be walking. So I can keep up with you.
Yeah. There you go. That's a good thought.
He tells me this. He's like, it'll be fine. Anyway, so last year he didn't actually run the whole 100. He made it to like 67 miles. But
Nice.
for his first one, I think he did great. So yeah, that's I have a little bit of the ultra experience. I did all of the like his crewing and stuff and just followed him around in the car the whole time.
Well, I mean, the crewing is so important because we're not really in the right. I think the hardest time was at through the night, like in the morning. That was when I really didn't do well. So I knew that my brother was going to be great because we've done weird adventures before, like hiking a mountain in Mexico, and we should not have been up there with rented crampons, which was a terrible idea. Anyways, like just knowing that people kind of have your back and know what you need is huge. So the
Yeah.
crew, not do it without the crew. We could not. I do not like. There's some people that do the solo
Oh,
100s,
I
and
don't know how they do it.
no, thank you. No interest in that.
No. No, I don't know how they do that. But
Well, I had to include that question on there because I followed you for years and I would keep up with like when you were training and sharing your journey and stuff, and I'm like, that is so cool. I've always wanted to be a runner, but I'm just not a great runner. I
Yep.
I like to cycle, and so I ride bikes a lot, or I like to lift. And so that's kind of like my area, but I feel like I'm one of those memes that's like, wait, I have little legs, like I'm shorter, so it's like my legs just can't keep up.
we
Well,
have
the
to run twice as many steps.
Yes, yes, I have more steps than a normal person.
well, it definitely is. That is one thing, though. I have learned you never judge a person's body type in ultra running because you might be like, "Holy cow! Like they look much different than me, and they're out here doing it." And then they pass you, and you're like, "Oh, okay, fantastic!" So
Yeah.
never judge a person, never ever. But cycling is amazing. My dad is a huge cyclist. He can't. His knees don't really hold up for the running aspect. But yeah, you can go a lot of really cool places and faster than us runners. So really, you're ahead, Kenzie. You're doing great.
Well, is there anything else that you would like to discuss? Either of you?
I so enjoyed this, guys. This was wonderful. And I don't know if I'm supposed to ask you guys questions, but I thoroughly enjoy it. Cause I'm like, I just want to know about your guys' life
Yeah.
too. A
Yeah.
three-way interview.
There you go.
Well, like I said, I've been such a huge fan of your work and what you do. Like I get your maker's mail all the time by email, and I just really enjoy like the content and the education that you put out because you truly, it's evident that you enjoy what you do and you're passionate about sharing that with other people. And I think that's so important in our industry where, like you said, back in the day people wanted to hide and not share anything, and you're just more than willing to put it out there. So I just think it's great that what you do. But so at the end of our show, we ask 10 rapid fire questions. They're really lighthearted, just something fun to get to know more about you. So we'll go ahead and dive into that, and then we'll be sure to tell everybody where they can find you and link up your stuff in our show notes. So
Awesome.
so question one is, what are you reading right now?
Right now I'm actually reading a fantastic book that I've read once before when my little girl was like 3 months old. It's called Hunt, Gather, Parent. Have you guys read it?
No,
No.
but I've heard of it. I heard it's really good.
It's so good. And so there's only so many books you reread, and this is one of them. And I think so. The whole premise is it's wrote about a lady. She's like a reporter, and she had kind of a a toddler, a 3-year-old that was being very trying in nice words. And she goes for her business. She goes and reports on people from all different cultures, and she saw how these people parent in different cultures that raise these very cooperative, helpful, independent children who just are like full of zest for life and just ready to do these things. And she's like, how do you people do this? So it's really just a book on, yeah, raising really helpful, wonderful children who are just very confident and very independent. And it's really good. I highly recommend it. Hunt, Gather, Parent. I've recommended it to I don't even know how many people. And it's hard. I don't normally recommend it to people that are already moms because I'm like, clearly you got your own thing going on. I don't know what the hell. So I've really enjoyed it. And since you guys are both moms, I will say, go ahead and give it a read. I'd be interested to see what you guys think about it as well.
I'll check it out. I love to read. So I'll put that on my list.
Yeah, I might actually that might be like exactly what I need right now because we're going through some growing pains a little here. So, yeah.
Try it out. Put it
Yeah.
test.
All right. Next question is sagebrush or blue stem?
Ooh, sagebrush.
I
Yep.
figured. Oregon.
Yeah,
Sagebrush everywhere.
there is. We're the sagebrush sea.
Yep.
What is your favorite part of being a maker slash rancher?
Oh, that I can look out my shop window building stuff that inspires me creatively and see, cows out there, them riding around, doing whatever they need to if they're sorting, just being part of it. I don't have to leave to do my work, I think is the most amazing thing.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
What's one thing you have on your bucket list?
Ooh, there is a run on I'm not going to pronounce it right, but it's on an island, I believe, just kind of south of Italy, and they do an ultra run on this island, and it's like Madeira Island. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it looks amazing. And even if I don't go and do the actual run, but just go over and run it myself, like it's tiny cliffs that are dropped off on both sides, and you get to run like the whole. I don't remember how many miles. It might be 100. Might have to do a couple laps on the island, but it just looks phenomenal. I think that'd be
Mm,
great.
yeah, that'd be
Wow.
beautiful. Beautiful scenery. What is your favorite steak cut and how do you like it cooked?
Ooh. Um, So, since we raise beef, and one thing people are like, "Oh, then you eat steaks all the time." I'm like, "Listen, there's only so many steaks, and then you get a lot
Yeah.
and a lot of one day I've always laughed, I'm gonna make a cookbook for, like, the ugly side of but
It's much needed.
we all have, I wish that we could afford tomahawk steaks every night and have those feed a crew, because we also, have people work here, and I feed them twice a week, and my mother-in-law feeds them the other nights. And but when you're feeding a crew and hungry men, you don't get to eat steak all the time. So, anyways, that's an aside. I would say if I had my choice, it would be a fillet and medium rare. The
Excellent.
bloodier, the better.
All right. What is your favorite wildflower?
Oh, because I'm a Californian, it's going to be the poppy. I love a
Puppy.
California poppy. Yeah.
They're so
Beautiful.
pretty. Okay. Log cabin or old farmhouse?
Oh, oh. Oh, that's hard. Can the log cabin be in open with no trees? I get caught in trees, me and my desertness. Um, maybe, I'll say old farmhouse because they're generally away from trees. Yeah.
I love that. Okay. Favorite recipe or meal to make?
Oh man. Favorite recipe. This is kind of this sounds really strange being a ranch wife, but all that I craved when I was pregnant was a kale salad. You just take kale, massage it with some lemon juice, olive oil, garlic powder, salt and pepper, and Parmesan, and it's just phenomenal. I also bring it to
Mm,
brandings. I've made multiple cowboys like kale, so it's got to be okay, I guess.
wow.
Look, sounds so
Impressive.
strange, but yeah, kale, a good steak, and a glass of red wine, perfect.
Mm.
Nice.
Have you ever had an animal that had a big impact on your life or was particularly memorable?
Yes, actually, I would say my little dog, her name is Quail, and I think it was memorable. My best friend got her for me as a graduation present from college, and she's just been with me through all of the life changes, moving out to the middle of nowhere. And we lived on our own for 2 years, and then we got married, right? And she's been with me through all of my training for every single one of my runs. She's my training partner. The longest she's went, I think, was 22 miles with me.
Wow.
So she's been with me for all of those and been with me, through pregnancy. So I would say it's my little dog Quail. Yep.
Oh.
That's impressive. I've always seen there's people that take their dogs like on the runs and stuff, and I'm just like, how long does that dog actually last?
And a lot of that was the longest, and I knew where I went. On that one, there was like water holes. I had to go. I was actually checking some fence for my husband up where we have some yearlings at, and so that worked out well because I knew that there was water for her. Because I can't pack enough water for me and her going that long. It wouldn't. It
Yeah.
wouldn't. But yes, yeah. So that's the furthest she's went. But any of the other runs, she needs. We both need to run a little bit more right now. She's getting a little sausagey looking, so I'll get her.
What
All
kind of
right.
dog is she?
She's a healer cross.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Share one random fact about you.
Oh man, a random fact. Um, I don't like my water cold. I don't like ice water. bothers me. It's got to be not warm, but it's got to just be like kind of perfect room temperature. Yeah, they say it's supposed to be better for you, but I can't stand like ice water. Yeah.
Sound European.
Yes, it is very European. Yes.
No ice. No
No
ice.
ice.
My husband's the same way, and he'll drink, like, soda warm too, and I'm like, "I have to have everything on ice."
Yeah, no, I've never been. My mother-in-law's the same way. She loves the ice stuff. I can't. Me and my father-in-law, we like it, the water the
Mm.
same way.
Well, that wraps up our rapid fire questions and I think the podcast, but thank you so much for being on. Would you tell our guest where they can find you, where they can sign up for Be a Maker School, and I guess where to follow you on social media?
Yes, and thank you so much, guys, for having me on. This has been such a wonderful podcast, and I'm just excited. I hope somebody, gets some value from it, and maybe encourages those people that are maybe in the same life stage we are, or just going through trying to make stuff and live in the middle of nowhere. You can do it for sure. You can run a business no matter where you live, and you can be creative at the same time, and you can be a mom at the same time. So there's many things. I've said once before. I had a friend tell me that women we think we've reached our threshold for what we can handle, and we're almost like the universe. We're constantly expanding in our
I
capacity
like
for.
that.
And I've said that a lot, and I've really enjoyed that. When she told me that, I'm like, I don't know if you know how many people I've told that to, because it helped me out as well. So thank you for being here. I so appreciate it. Where people can find me, I'm Nevada W on Instagram for Nevada Watt Brand, and we're Be a Maker School on Instagram, Facebook, for Be a Maker School. So that makes it kind of simple. If you guys have any questions about wanting to learn how to make stuff, please shoot me an email, nevadawatt@gmail, or info@beamaker.school. And we'll definitely get that answered for you, because I'd love to, if you want to learn this, help you find the right course for you as well. And I appreciate you guys supporting my business. And so I get to keep doing it in the middle of nowhere and run cows as
All right. Well, thank you so much again. And it was such a great time talking to you. So I'm excited to see all that you do.
well. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Bye.